Hi everyone, welcome back to Reborn Higa. I'm gonna let some people stream in. I want to talk about a hot topic right now, something that is a current event in our community. But I'm gonna let some people stream in. I have my camera up high, so I'm gonna try. Let me see. But yes, the title of this chat is going to be, let me put the volume down. I'm trying to find a way that I'm going to be able to see your comments. I'm going to switch Stellan out. I'm going to bring in Killian. And before I get like really into the topic, I do want to acknowledge Miss Serenity's live stream. I watched it post live because I didn't catch it live yesterday, but I did watch it post live. But I also did read about, I follow all the community happenings on Facebook. So I did see Bonnie Brown's post yesterday, went to work. By the time, that's why I didn't catch Serenity's live stream. But I went to work, and when I came back, I saw that Serenity had talked about what was going on with the copying of the Grayson kit by Bonnie Brown. So I do want to acknowledge her and give her credit for handling the issue the way she did. I liked the discussion in there, and that she gave an opportunity for us to hear the other person, the offending party's rationalizations, I guess, because honestly, I feel like there was no excuse for what's going on. And for me, in my own opinion, which I'm going to give you guys my unsolicited opinion here, it's something we should talk about. I am going to bring Grayson on. So I saw some people pop up. I have the tripod up really high, so I'm going to see if I can. Hi, Ashley's baby, Haven Nursing, and Teresa Layton. Hi, my little world. So we're going to hang out. And we're going to talk, and I hope some more people join. I'm going to give people a couple more minutes. But yes, again, I just want to reiterate that I did watch, if you guys can, go check out Serenity's live stream on the topic. I thought it was thorough. And I did my own homework as well, because I did see Bonnie Brown's post on Facebook yesterday morning, went to work. By the time I came back, the whole situation was like totally popping off. And if you haven't heard, hi, Random Reborns and Edent Reborn Nursery. Hello. So if you haven't heard yet, this is this is a Levi kit. I am going to bring Grayson on, and I'm going to change his outfit. So let me grab what I'm going to put on my little Grayson, my little Killian. I think I'll grab an outfit for him as we let people join the conversation before we get into it. And we'll, we're going to be talking about copying in the community, sculpting, sculptors copying mainly. We have a recent situation where a lady from Australia, woman from Australia that is, I guess, supposedly a sculptor, casted the hands of Grayson and used them as part of her creation. I'm going to try to keep the story in as much chronological order from like how the events unfolded as possible, so that we could all, and anyone who has better information than I do, or if you need to correct me on any of the information, please feel free to do so in the comments. That way this doesn't become a bed of misinformation, because it's important for me to get the facts right as much as possible. So that's the most important part about it. Let's get the facts right here. Hi and welcome everybody. I don't know if I missed any comments. I'm not looking at the camera right now, but I am looking for an outfit for Killian that I want to change him. And I wanted to get this topic underway as well because of the fact that I have a box opening coming up this week. I think I'm going to do this. We're going to do sweaters and diapers this with the dolls. Let's muster as much of the knits as we can before it warms up here. And it will warm up. It always gets warm here. So this is the baby of the hour. No, well, he's going to be the baby of the minute because I am going to switch him out because we're going to talk about Grayson, and I have a Grayson kit. So we're just going to shift this little boy out. We'll see him again soon. And we're going to shift in Killian. I'm sorry I have him like at a weird angle. It's just, there he is, upside down. Hi, Deb2520. Teresa Layton. Rambling Rose says, her calling the artist live on YouTube totally took me for a loop. Yeah, me too. I think we all do. Well, I don't know what Miss Serenity's tactics are, like if she contacted the artist, Naomi Campbell, prior to calling her, or if that was completely impromptu. You know, she just did it at the, you know, spur of the moment. But I thought it is important to hear the other person's side. I feel like I need to start at the beginning though. So this is Grayson, guys. He was created years ago. Don't quote me on when. I want to say 2014 maybe. By Bonnie Brown. And most of you already know Bonnie Brown. I gotta crack open the window. It's a little bit warm in here. Bonnie Brown is a sculptor from Australia. I'm a self-proclaimed huge Bonnie Brown groupie. I really love Bonnie's sculpting. She's my favorite sculptor. And then we have, you know, she's made lots of beautiful creations. Her art is prolific. She's continuously getting better and better and better and just knocking them out of the park. There's lots of artists in our community like that, but we're focusing on Bonnie's situation today. As many of you know, I think the top two artists in the community that have been consistently and abhorrently copied by Chinese manufacturers, the Chinese knockoffs, are Bonnie. I think at the forefront, the majority of her sculpts are always being copied. And then we also have Ping Lao. So I didn't want to not mention Ping Lao's situation because her dolls get copied heavily and sold on the they're fakes. A lot of those dolls on eBay by, you know, supposedly Ping Lao and Bonnie Brown, they're fakes, counterfeit dolls. So what makes them counterfeit? If you're new to this hobby, you may not understand how this process happens of copying a doll or creating a copy. So what, you know, these Chinese, or if someone decides to take it upon themselves to do it, what they do is they get a hold of the vinyl kit and then they cast a mold of the vinyl kit, and then they create their own, either silicone or counterfeit knockoff vinyl kits, which I've been seeing a lot of counterfeit knockoff Levi's, counterfeit knockoff, a lot of Bonnie Brown dolls like Maddie, unfortunately is now in the hands of, you know, of the counterfeit, the fake manufacturers. So yeah, so that's where we're at. This is something that's happening, and we're contributing it a lot to a lot of people. When we talk about knockoffs and counterfeit, we seem to hyper focus on the situation in China and the sale of illegal dolls or fake dolls, knockoffs, call it, you know, what you want. It seems to litter is just saturating Amazon and eBay and fake web pop-up websites. So these counterfeit dolls are being like, they're just saturating the community. Um, so we have that situation. So when we think of counterfeits and knockoffs and copies, that's probably one of the most talked about things going on. But as of recently, we had a sculptor who is also from Australia. I'll get to your guys. I can see your guys' comments popping up. Hi everyone. Here in New Brunswick, Canada, we get to use the knits year round. Yeah, we get to use the bubble rompers almost year round. But so we have an artist, a sculptor, and I'm gonna quote unquote. I'm gonna do some air quotes here. Somebody who says that they sculpt, that made a doll called Ezra. She claims that the doll looks like her son, Ezra. So she gets to sculpting this doll, and supposedly in the process of sculpting the limbs, the hands that she supposedly sculpted, this is her rationalization. This is the way she rationalized what she did. In the process of sculpting the hands, they were destroyed or they broke or they crumbled. So she panicked and decided to run to her stash of blank vinyl kits and grabbed Grayson's limbs, because supposedly Grayson's limbs look pretty close to what she had supposedly sculpted. And she made a copy. She did a mold of the hands and created the arms for her new doll, Ezra. She then produced, I think this is the part that I'm a little fuzzy on, but from my understanding, she produced maybe 2 kits went out, 2 blank kits. One went to an artist, I believe she's in Hawaii, but I'm not exactly sure where she's at, but her name is Leonie or Kiani, something like that. She sends her a blank kit. And I guess she was probably gonna do the prototype of the doll or something. She receives the doll. She's like, oh, it's great, it's great. You know, she lets Naomi know, hey, I got the blank kit, I'm gonna paint it. And then as she just, kept examining the kit, like we all do when we get a blank kit, we start looking at the hands and we're looking at the feet. Bonnie Brown does not repeat limbs. Now, there are artists out there, there are some sculptors that will repeat the same limbs. And she didn't sculpt the original hands. They were a live cast from her son. Okay, thank you. Reborn Living Dolls. So they were a cast of her son's original hands that she casted from him as a newborn. So this begs the question if she even knows how to sculpt at all. Okay, moving on. Thank you for that information. I did read that, but I kind of brushed over it, but thank you. So she then panics when the cast of the original hands break, and supposedly Grayson's hands are very similar. And the point I was getting at was that there are sculptors out there that will repeat limbs on their dolls, but at least it's their own sculpted creations. So that takes us to the point where then Leonie or Kioni, something like that. I'm sorry, Kilani. I can't say her name very good, but she's she usually paints silicones, is from what I see. She gets the kit and she examines the arms, and she realizes that the arms are actually not. They look very similar to Grayson. So she keeps going back to Grayson's pictures that Bonnie had recently posted, because I believe Bonnie might have been onto the sculptor Naomi. And my personal opinion is this woman has no business calling herself a sculptor if she is incapable of sculpting her own limbs. I was at the live and she said that herself. Yes, I believe you. I read that also. I heard the live as well, and I just forgot that little detail, if she had sculpted it and then it crumbled, but it was a cast of her son's arms. So moving along, we have a lot of artists that will repeat limbs that they've sculpted. They'll just switch out the face. Perfect example would be Susu and Maggie. They have the same limbs, but they're both sculpted by Natalie Blick. The only difference is Natalie Blick just changed the face. Gudrun Legler does that a lot too. Her limbs look very similar. So, in good conscience, uh, this other artist that got the blank kit could not move forward with painting them. In fact, she contacts Naomi and tells her, hey, these are Grayson's limbs. You need to contact Bonnie and tell her what you've done. So it looks like she got kind of pressed by other artists that that she was pretty much caught. She admits to it. She admitted to it yesterday on her own page, on her, she admits it to in private conversations with Bonnie. I mean, she's been caught. What I've been wondering as I've been following all the conversations and everything, and even as I heard her at Miss Serenity's live stream yesterday, even as I listened to her, I've been wondering, would she, sorry, the sun's about to beam in here, would she even have apologized or confessed to this had nobody noticed? I guess, she couldn't even answer that herself. I know that Serenity had asked her that yesterday. Would she have admitted that this was what happened? Sorry, that light. Can't tell which blind it's coming in from. So that also we don't know. She said that she couldn't even really answer that herself, which I kind of feel like she was probably afraid to answer that. I heard a lot of her saying things like, it's done, it can't be undone. Is there redemption for these people, for people who do this? Is there redemption? I don't want to get like religious or spiritual about it. We're just talking about dolls, but should somebody like this be allowed to continue to move around the doll community? Look at how hard we all are trying to fight the counterfeits, and even that is just, it feels like a futile. I constantly report eBay counterfeits, only just and eBay doesn't take them down. So they're gaining traction. I recently had a poll. I took a poll on my community wall, and I was asking, people if, and it's completely anonymous, but I was asking people if running with wild ones. I just got here and I'm very confused. Oh, I'm so sorry. Well, there was a sculptor who copied Bonnie Brown's Grayson's arms and put it on her sculpt, sent the kits out to be painted. Then the artist who received the doll realized, hey, these hands look awfully familiar. And when she compared them to Grayson, she realized they were actually Grayson hands. And this sculptor who created this doll called Ezra was in fact copied. The limbs were copied. Even if it's a toe, it's still copying. And if you're doing it exactly, so she basically copied the hands to a T exactly. What she did was she casted the blank vinyl kit's hands, stuck them on a doll she said she created, and then said it was her own original. So I did see and I did hear a lot of rationalizations as to why she did it. She says she doesn't understand why she did it either, like she panicked or. And like I said, I don't want to get totally religious or spiritual, but should there be redemption for this type of thing in our community? Let me see what you guys have to say. What else has she borrowed? I wonder too. Bonnie gave her an ultimatum. That's the only reason she could. Yeah, I'm telling the story right now. So yeah, Bonnie did give her an ultimatum. She did tell, I guess in her conversations with her, it was like, you tell everyone or I'm going to tell everyone. At least she was gracious enough to give her the opportunity to control the narrative, the confession a little bit to, it was a pretty much kind of the decent thing to do to at least allow her that, because she could have just blasted her without, ambush her without even confronting her privately, taking it privately, but she did the decent thing and allowed her to have some semblance of control of the narrative on her own Facebook page, where, in fact, she garnered a lot of sympathy from people, from artists and collectors. Oh, we all make mistakes. It's good that you confessed. But the truth is that had she not been pushed into a confession, I think, or that if no one would have gotten confrontational with her, I think she would have just continued the facade that this was her idea, her creation, her work. So sometimes sculptors change their minds about limbs or even faces and have no problem to just sculpt new sets or the whole new face. I agree with Shara here. She wouldn't have come out by herself. Who has been caught? I just got here. You'll have to rewind the video. We just started, but I listened to Serenity's stream as well, and I agree with the consensus. She wouldn't have come out by herself. Her saying was always against recasts and all. How does she call what she did? How does she call what she did? She did the same thing. Rambling Rose says, doesn't sound like it. She barely took responsibility yesterday. She kept saying, I don't know what I was thinking. Yeah, and none of us know how we would be if we were in that position, but I think the majority of us, this is a good lesson, I think this is a good warning for everybody in the community about copying and doing, recasts. Within our community, it's bad enough that we're battling the counterfeit market, the Chinese counterfeit market, but then you have people that are willing to do this within the community that are navigating and roaming around our community, still. And I feel like she still intends to continue being a part of this. I doubt she's done anything really original. That's a hard one, Jenny says. Honestly, in that post you read to me, the prototype artist said herself she was the one who asked the copycat to contact Bonnie. Yes, she did. I said that she was the artist, the silicone artist that got the doll, did tell her that, I'm going to button up the back of his shirt. I'll get back to the comments in just a second. Did tell her, she gave her an ultimatum, like the jig is up. The jig is up. You've been caught. And yeah, I honestly don't think that she would have. Oh, these little buttons are so hard. I honestly don't think that she would have come clean on her own. It was unconscionable what she did. And it really takes, like, I wouldn't even be able to live with myself, like the boldness of coming out, going as far as sending the kid out to artists. There is this case. My gosh, these buttons are so hard. I can't get it through the eye hole. Sorry, my baby looks all weird bent over like that. There is this person, and I saw it on 60 Minutes Australia. I love watching 60 Minutes Australia. I don't know, the Australians just have those stories. They just tell it better. But there is this girl, and I just cannot remember her name. Let me see if I can find her. She was, if I can find her name, hold on. What is her name? Okay, her name is Belle Gibson. There's this girl from Australia. Her name was Belle Gibson. I saw this in 60 Minutes. If you guys get a chance to watch that, Watch it. It's really good. I feel like it was like everything that Naomi was saying and her behavior and even her apology reminded me of Belle Gibson. Belle Gibson was this young lady from Australia who claimed that she had terminal brain cancer and that her diet, holistic food diet, her raw food diet, whatever, um, had healed her tumor, had healed her from um, from cancer. Like she no longer had cancer. That all she did was like alternative, homeopathic, holistic cancer treatment. She even wrote a book. She ended up even having an app created. I mean, she made hundreds of thousands of dollars from her book, from this story that actually was a lie. She never had a brain tumor. She never had brain cancer. So 60 Minutes Australia interviews Belle Gibson, and it's an opportunity for Belle Gibson to come out and come clean. And she apologized, and kind of like Naomi was doing, where she was like saying during Miss Serenity's live stream, look, everybody has a right to be mad at me. They're allowed to, and I can't do anything about it. Belle Gibson sounded exactly the same way. It was like, it reminds me of some people here in the community, some of the drama makers that apologize about their abhorrent behavior, but are relying on the nature of people to look at more sympathetically at people who are capable of apology, whether it's real or not. If a person is capable of saying, hey, I'm sorry, there's redemption. People seem to go, oh, we all make mistakes. And they at least were courageous enough to apologize, to, come out publicly and say, hey, I was a real jerk and now I'm sorry. So let's move on now, everybody. That's all I can do. And you guys can hate me. I understand. I totally get it. I still love you, even though you hate me. It's kind of this whole facade where it almost to me is not a sincere apology. But I don't know. I'm trying to get too deep into the psychology of it. But the way Naomi responded to Miss Serenity's questions really reminded me of Belle Gibson. It was the same way. It was like, hey, I did something bad, guys. I'm confessing it. And I'm a big person for confessing it, don't you think? So that is the whole attitude of Naomi that I didn't like. And I feel like her apology wasn't sincere. I just think she feels, of course, bad because she got caught. So let me go back to your comments. So Teresa Layton says she loves 60 Minutes Australia. Me too. Oh, let me go back here. Rambling Rose says, did I read this? Okay, so what's frustrating is the people on her webpage were very forgiving. Well, everyone makes mistakes. This was a conscious choice to steal. Yeah, that's how I'm seeing it too, Rambling Rose. I feel like that's where the problem, therein lies the problem. Yes, we can say that people are brave for apologizing, that it is, very humiliating and a humbling experience to be able to admit your flaws and where you went wrong and to right your wrong, whatever you did wrong to people. But is it sincere? And I knock. I guess I've seen a lot of people do this here on YouTube where they've hurt a lot of people. A lot of people spent lots of time hurting people, and they come out and they apologize. But is the apology really for the people they hurt, or is it for them? Is it self-serving? In Naomi's case, in my opinion, this was self-serving, just like Belle Gibson. After my live, you guys go watch that Belle Gibson interview on 60 Minutes Australia. It's so, it'll kind of help you understand the pathology of a liar where my mind is at right now as far as this situation. Jenny's Reborn World says she has no idea what I'm talking about. Right, Katie, she totally skipped over that with Serenity. Random Reborn says, good point, Katie. Thank you, ladies. Mary Beth says, when asked if you would have come out if she hadn't been confronted, she responded, she can't really answer that. She had an opportunity. She could have been truthful. She could have said, you know what? No. Maybe we would, I don't know if we would have respected her more or if that would have been more damaging. That, I think, is what people are looking for. That might even be her path to redemption. Who knows? Who knows? That might be for her to admit that had she not been called out, she would have never said anything. That might have been what changed the tide for her. But she was unwilling to admit that. She was unwilling to answer that question. Let's see. Deb 2025. Hi, Lisa. You remember that story about Belle Gibson? Or yeah? It's a really interesting story, the Belle Gibson story. Copying is wrong no matter if the doll is the community, if it is the doll community or whatever. Yes, I agree with you, Deb 2520. The lady caused deaths. I cannot even with this case, to be honest. Emotional manipulation. Reborn Living Doll says, I believe Naomi does not deserve sympathy. Forgiveness is something different. Very good point. Thank you for saying that. They're two different things. Yes. My Little World says, I find it atrocious using the whole I destroyed my child's hand cast, so that's why I stole other sculptors' work. Yeah, that wasn't enough for me either. It really wasn't. Random Reborn says, totally agree. That brush off with no plans to amend or earn respect back shared are useless in my opinion. Thank you. I agree with you. My Little World says, the true sculptor would be upset about the whole process being delayed, but I'm sure they would not run to recast their colleagues' kits. Yeah. Maddie Beth says, right, Katie. Random Reborn says, if there is true remorse, she would acknowledge that she would need to take as long as necessary to prove herself in the community and the artist world and forgive and figure out how she is going to humble herself. Yes. I didn't see I feel like there was embarrassment, but not humility. And I'm using the word humility in the context of along the lines of being humble, or, there was no humility in her. I believe she was truly embarrassed for being caught, but I didn't see the humility in her. I didn't hear the humility in her words and what she was telling us. Bella Boo says, off subject, but I love the sweater. Yeah, it's cute, right? It's jackety sweater. I just have never put it, still have the tags on. Always save these buttons, guys. I've had a few buttons, not from Jockety, but other outfits. I always save the little pearl buttons, or the little buttons that come with like outfits like from Jockety and other European brands that they send along, because the buttons are very unique. A lot of the times they're engraved with the brand's name on them. So always a good idea to save the buttons, because I have had some buttons fall off of outfits and then I couldn't find the buttons. So save the buttons in the little bag. I want to know how both hand casts broke, by the way. Oh my God, I just bought this sweater 2 days ago. Does anyone know Naomi's YouTube channel name? I just haven't heard about her. No, I don't know. I don't know that she has a channel. Both hands all at once. She was more upset that she was caught. I don't think she felt guilty about it. Yeah, I agree, Mighty Bet. I just don't. So what do we do as a community? I want to talk about the ethics of being here in this little niche, hobby, and the ethics of what do we do when one of our own, because everybody is one of our own until something like this happens. Um, I just don't understand how somebody would want to do that and still want to be part of this beautiful, this wonderful, fun hobby, this creative hobby. It's a creative outlet, not just for the sculptors, not just for those who paint, but even for the collectors who role play, who style their dolls, who, it's just, and then out of all the people, not that it would have been good if it was any other artist, but as if Bonnie hasn't taken a beating enough these past few years with the counterfeits. As it hasn't affected her psyche enough to delay, to kind of stunt her creativity, or for her to continue her work and to continue to produce these beautiful dolls for us in the community. These artists, Ping Lau, Bonnie Brown, Laura Lee Eagles, Cassie Brace, all of these artists, Natalie Blick, I can go on and go on. All of these sculptors, they have leveled up. Oh, thank you so much for my super chat. I haven't gotten a super chat in forever, but thank you. These artists have leveled up this art. I don't want to go back to Behringer's. I wasn't in the hobby when it was Behringer's or the stripping of, of manufactured dolls that you would buy at Walmart or Target. I wasn't into the hobby back then. I don't want to go back to the realism of that type of sculpting. What these artists have they actually didn't just contribute to the hobby. They actually created what it is now. They've created what this hobby is today. This hobby would be nowhere without sculptors. And now it's being trashed and exploited by the counterfeit market. And apparently, if that wasn't bad enough, there are people that will do what Naomi Campbell did. So this isn't his, but I was going to see what this flap of meat looks like on him. I got to fix his cable ties. Sorry, I tend to get on my soapbox a lot over here, so. But I do appreciate you guys for coming over here and listening to my musings. And I wanted to talk about it live because I wanted it to be, this isn't actually his belly plate. This is Stellan's belly plate, but I had it right here. So I'm like, I'm going to put it on him. Look at that tummy. Because his belly plate, I have it put away in a container, so I'd have to dig it out. It's actually, it doesn't go all the way up to the chest. It's just the tummy part, and it just comes around like that. But yeah, so I feel like, say what you want, we owe these sculptors for making this hobby what it is now. The realism in this hobby, I don't want the realism. I don't want Behringer's. I want artists like Bonnie to continue creating. I don't even care if we're coddling the sculptors, if this is coddling them, and I just want good artists to continue their work and not be stunted or afflicted to do it because of the fakes and the counterfeits, plagiarism, and recasts. How many prototype kits with stolen arms she sent out? From what I read on the post of the artist that received the blank kit, there were two. There were two sent out. I don't know who the other. That was another thing. I was telling Katie this earlier. Like, Naomi didn't just compromise herself in this situation. She compromised the integrity and reputation of the artists that she sent her kits to. So she embroiled them into her shenanigans. And lucky for one of them, at least, they realized what they were looking at. You know, lucky for one of them, they realized what it was that they had. So it's not just limited. It doesn't just stay with her. This caused a ripple effect. This causes a ripple effect. I don't understand how in good conscience she can actually send those kits out too. Naomi Johnson, yes. Mighty Beth said too, she didn't compensate Bonnie, but I think she did call back. Well, this is something that I had talked privately with some friends last night when we were watching all of this, and for all we know, this is all speculation now. Here's me filling in the blanks and doing the assumptions, but for all we know, she's in Australia. Bonnie is in Australia. This isn't some anonymous entity counterfeit manufacturing warehouse in China. For all we know, the pressure of the possibility of a lawsuit was more tangible because they both are from, you know, this was a lawsuit was more tangible because they're both in the same country and it could be shown and proof, and she admitted to it. But also she would have to prove damages. Like she would have to prove that somehow, well, I don't know the Australian law, but I know in the US you would have to prove damages. This is amateur hour here. I am not a lawyer, so I don't know exactly the legalities of it, but she might have even been able to sue her. But I'm sure she would have had to prove like damages and loss of money and everything like that. So, but yeah. Naomi Campbell. Did I say Campbell? Because that's the actress. I might have confused it. I don't know if I said that or it's not the actress from Australia didn't do this. It was somebody else named Naomi Johnson. I do apologize if I said Campbell because that's the Australian actress. That's not the sculptor that we're talking about. Yes, Ines, the artists were compromised. What a mess. Yes, you were right, Ines. I cannot imagine being a prototype artist and being subjected to all of this, to this all. So, hang on. I hope I didn't miss too many comments here. Let me scroll back. I don't know. I really wanted, like, I'm wondering about, like, where is there a future? Should there be a future for somebody like that? Do we show no mercy? Yeah, how does, it's not, you know, Naomi kept talking about how all she could do now is just move forward, reorganize her priorities. I don't know, reprioritize her life, her existence in this community. But it's not just about Naomi. It's how does everyone in the community now move forward with this? Is there redemption for the Naomis in this community? Should there be? I'm sorry, I'm laughing at the Naomi Campbell. I'm going to listen back to this video and I probably said Naomi Campbell like 100 times. Yeah, I like her. Remember when she dated Heath Ledger? What a hot couple. What a hot couple. So, yes, Naomi Johnson. We're talking, she's the offender here. Maribeth says, the sad part is that she said Bonnie isn't a confrontating. I heard that part. I want to talk about that. Thank you for bringing that up, Maribeth. Bonnie isn't a confronting person. She's not confrontational. So because of this, she thought Bonnie was not going to confront you, but you felt it was okay. There is this word in the Spanish language, and we use frequently in South America, and it's the word conchuda, and the meaning of that word is basically usually it's somebody that's fresh. They rely on the good nature of other people, or the fact that people don't want to be confrontational, or they rely on other people's need to keep the calm, or they just basically rely on people not being confrontational. So I think she might have been hoping that she could ride that non-confrontational wave, and it didn't work out like that for her. I've never heard of that Naomi lady before, and I pried. Well, I have seen her. However, I didn't know. It wasn't somebody that, like, I didn't see her work or anything. I didn't follow her in that sense. Like, but I had seen her around the community. Um, the thing about that is that she's now going to be considered infamous, notorious. Naomi Johnson will go down in infamy, you know. She'll be known as this notorious sculptor, in quoted air quotes here, that tried to get away with copying a Bonnie Brown sculpt, the limbs on a Bonnie Brown sculpt. She didn't think Bonnie would do anything about it. Well, that's a shame. Oh, I didn't want to say anything because I didn't. But yeah, so I guess, you know, I keep reaching on the ethics of all of this, and how as a community we move on. I guess it's up to each individual to be, you know, forgiving and like, hey, everybody makes mistakes. Has this propelled her to notoriety? This has propelled her. This has gotten her really noticed. And I know there's people here that have, you know, I have personal experience in that use somebody's name, like somebody more popular, to gain notice or notoriety, and they ride the wave of another popular channel, popular sculptor, popular anything. It's happened to me, you know, where somebody was like, hey, you know, they realize they can get more attention picking fights with more popular people, and then they get noticed because they get mentioned. Who knows? I don't know what her strategy was here. That's okay. From now on, doing that would be pulling a Naomi. Yeah. Are you pulling a Naomi? You get what I'm saying, then. You totally get it. Riding the coattails of a big artist. Yep. Because you know, some people just, you know, what do they say? What is it? No PR is bad PR, or bad PR is PR. It doesn't matter if it's good or bad. Um, your name is still being said, and I know I'm talking about her right now, but it's because I want to appeal to our conscience here as a collective, as everybody in a community together. um I'm going to open the blinds a little bit. So that's why I'm kind of like, that's where I'm at with this. I want to know what the consensus is. And you don't have to agree with me. You can disagree and say, you know, hey, she made a mistake. She apologized. Let's just, you know, take it at face value. And if she pops up again, I mean, is it gonna be like whack-a-mole, you know, pop your head up, whack-a-mole? Or is she finished in this community? Is anyone really ever finished? Because I've seen some shenanigans, some shameless stuff in this community, on YouTube, on Facebook, and somehow some of these people are still like, they're neck deep in it, but their faces are still, they're like, I can still gasp. I'm still gasping at some oxygen here, sucking it in, and they're still somehow keeping their little faces above water. At least that nose is still pointing out. Mary Beth says she asked Miss Serenity not to edit the video, but she can copy. I'm not quite understand. I don't quite understand that. I'm not sure if I quite understand what you were trying to say there, Mighty Bet. Elisa says, I believe Naomi is done in this community. Yes, everyone makes mistakes, but this was not a mistake. It was a choice. That's how I look at it. Thank you, Elisa. Yes, I feel that it was a choice that she, every step of the way, I mean, even when you're packing up this kit, this blank kit, and sending it to prototype artists, it never like kept her up at night, or she never stopped to say, you know, I can't go on like this. I can't do this. She's saying she goes and copies limbs, but asks Miss Serenity not to edit her video. Oh, okay. So she did say that she copies more limbs. Oh, yeah. She didn't want the video edited to make her look worse. Okay, I understand. Yeah, that's that might be it. I didn't finish watching the whole thing. I think I maybe when once they finished the call, I think that's I listened to a little bit of Miss Serenity's opinions about it, her take about their conversation and about the situation. But then I stopped watching after. I think maybe like I didn't watch the last 10 minutes of it, the last 5 or 10 minutes of it. She sold 2 dolls, doesn't feel guilty. So that's what I'm wondering. Did she sell these blank kits, or did she, were these sent to artists as prototypes? That's one part I'm not quite understanding yet. Oh, she texted that to Serenity after. I knew that 2 kits had gone out. And I knew at least one of the artists involved that had received the kit. But anyway, I didn't want to talk about that, like in that, like all the little details. Does she make money off of it? I want to talk about it, about her place in this community now. How do you move forward with something like that? His little mice on there, so cute. I am ready for the rompers. I have so many rompers. I've been ready with my rompers since last year because my dolls took so long to get here, so long to be created. I'm gonna see if I can turn his little face so he can kind of, no. Trying to make it look like he's looking right at you guys. No. Let me see. Maybe we'll put the bottle to his face. You know, I don't like all this hard glue up here on the nipple. Makes it hard to bend. So that's the interesting and wild thing that's happening in our community right now. Like, I believe it was A Living Reborn said, I believe it was her that said it, you know, sympathy and forgiveness are 2 different things. Like on one hand, as a human being and everything, I do feel bad for Naomi. But I think it's unforgivable. I just do. I don't think it's forgivable. I feel bad for her that she got caught up in this. I wonder what's going on with her emotionally and mentally to be the type of person that would do something like this. But other than that, like, I don't think it's I don't think it's forgivable. I just don't think it's forgivable. He said it's a cute sweater, good taste. Hold on, let me scroll back here. Marie David Sweet Marie says, pretty baby, I love the painting on him. Yes, only she can do alterations. No, she didn't admit to copying. I think they were sold and she called them back. I think she said she refunded them. I can't believe I just bought that sweater. I think I must have. He is adorable. How many inches is he? You know, I don't remember. And I'm sorry, I don't always remember the inches, but 19 to 20. But if you go back and you look at his details video, all of his information will be in there, including how big he is. Running with Wild One says, I think it will be hard to move forward for her. Hold on, let me read this from over here. Okay, Running with Wild One says, I think it will be hard for her to move forward I think it will be hard to move forward for her, especially if we consider how long ago Baby Clon was outed for the same thing, yet they are still looked down and not trusted to this day. That's true, but they still make money. But they aren't trusted in our niche here. They're not trusted in our niche hobby. I mean, it's the scandal of the silicone doll lady. Dang, what was her name? The company? Oh, it's Baby Clone. Baby Clon. They found out that one in 2015 during the Rose Doll Show. They're walking around, they're taking a look at Baby Clon limbs and the dolls that they had, and they noticed that they looked really familiar. And sure enough, it looks like they recasted a lot of the limbs on their dolls. Not forgettable, but I'm wondering if it's forgivable. Yes, admit it to copying Bonnie's scalp, but not to copying other artists. Oh, that was another thing. Let me see if I have it. No. Dang it. Let me see if it got saved to my... Somebody did an overlay. No, I don't have it. Okay. Well, somebody did an overlay face of her Ezra and of Grayson's face to show the similarities in the faces. And I don't have that here. I have it on my phone, so I'm not able to show it to you. But maybe I'll post it on my community wall or something so that you guys can see it. I'll post it after the live. That lady was entirely unapologetic. Yeah, Christina. Her name is Christina from Baby Clon. I don't remember her last name, but yeah, she is super, super unapologetic. The lady, okay, sometimes what people say publicly is vastly different from what they do. Teresa Lane says, is he about the same size as a Levi? I put the same, like, I'll dress Levi and Grayson both in, like, newborn. I agree, Rain, no ownership. Rambling Rose says, maybe if other artists refuse to work with her, it might limit her career. She can always paint for customers. There will always be those people who will want cheaper dolls. Real integrity is what you choose to do when no one is watching. And plenty of people who won't know about her history, Rambling Rose. The word needs to get out to artists. I heard Laura Lee Eagles also copied Bonnie's Reborn Ducky. I don't I don't know that that's true. She copied Bonnie. I don't know. I don't think so. I would think we would have heard about that. And I don't want to be questioning an artist like Laura Lee Eagles here. I don't want to be questioning her integrity on my live stream. So I would rather things like that not be flying around here in the chat because it's very damaging. And I'm not, this isn't gossip session. We're talking about one situation. We're talking about the situation of counterfeits, and I don't like questioning the integrity of someone that is not here, first of all, to defend themselves. Neither is Naomi, but whatever. But that is not part of the conversation. That isn't part of the situation. Yeah, so I'm sorry. I have to put that out there. I just don't want to. I don't want to gossip about that kind of stuff so publicly. I mean, I know there's only 39 of you guys here, so it is like not like my channel is like got like a million subscribers. But I don't want to question the integrity of another artist if I've never heard anything like that before. So oh, I had his face just right. So we've been on for 60 minutes, and I want to thank all of you guys who came on with me to talk about this situation. I really always appreciate when you guys get in the conversation and, get in the chat. I'm sorry I heard about it on Instagram, but I couldn't find any source, so I was wondering if anyone else knew. Thank you, though. You're right. Thank you, Reborn Ducky. I haven't heard anything about that, so yeah, I don't know. And it just, yeah, I'm trying. I know it sounds like gossipy here, but I was just trying not to be gossipy, but while we're being gossipy. This is the tiki tiki. Okay, I agree, Shara. The Grayson is the best. I love him so much. This Grayson, oh, thank you. Gertie was very different from Saskia, but I see how they could look similar. Oh yeah, I remember Gertie. Yeah, I remember there was people saying that Gertie looked a lot like Saskia, but I've never seen Gertie. Oh wait, have I seen Gertie in person? I think I have. Yeah, I don't know if I've seen Gertie in person. I don't think that's a kit that I see in person, so I wouldn't even be able to say if they're even similar, except for like in pictures and stuff. But their legs are, oh, this was a funny situation. Speaking of Gertie, in our Bonnie Brown group, there was this person, and you guys know how annoying I am, like, about people putting the correct things in there. Like, I don't mind, I'll stand corrected all the time, okay? But I feel like other people should allow some space to be corrected as well. But there was this woman in our Bonnie Brown group, and one of the rules is you just don't post other dolls unless they're being featured with a Bonnie Brown. And this lady kept insisting that her doll was a Saskia, and it really didn't ring into me because I've owned a Saskia, but it's been such a long time since I had one in my collection. And Katie noticed, and she's like, that doll's not a Saskia. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's not a Saskia, because I didn't really like examine the limbs or anything like that, because the face, the open mouth looks similar. But the limbs are very different. The limbs are different. The legs are different. The arms are different. I mean, if you want to talk about similarities, there's a lot of dolls out there that have pointing fingers, newborns, closed fist, open hands. A lot of them will kind of take the same form. But this lady was posting her Gertie and saying it was Saskia. And when I told her, well, she's very cute and everything, but she's not Saskia. Oh no, she is. That's what she was insisting it was. Oh my gosh. But yeah, there's the people that are just don't, they need to get a clue out there and they don't have a clue. Teresa Layton says the tea has been spilled. Anyway, yes, thank you everyone for being here. I really wanted to talk to you guys here, all you people who subscribe to my channel and people who participate in the chat. Because I don't always get to talk to you guys. I don't really communicate with a lot of people outside of, YouTube, a little bit on Instagram, but I want to appreciate everybody who came in here and gave their opinions, gave some good information about the situation. And I'm glad that we all got a chance to talk about it. I wish we would have been able to delve in a little bit deeper in what's to come or if there's redemption, but I couldn't get quite a conversation going about that. But I still, if you're watching this post live, let me know in the comments, is this forgivable? Does Naomi Johnson have a future in our community? Or should we impede her ability? Should we impede her moving around the community as freely as she wants, as much as possible? So what say you? Thank you guys for being here, and I'll see you guys again soon. Box opening, hopefully this weekend. Box opening, box opening. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Not without amends that I can think of. And with that, last final thought, thanks for watching, guys.